Thank you. I'm running this. So, yes, definitely.
The fame is I'm the pretty face. So y'all probably get that by now.
I hope I can work this thing. Yeah, well, I'm gonna try. I'm gonna give it a shot. So, as Jill, that was too kind, first of all. So she really probably embellished that slightly, but I do appreciate it. So I'm Christy Dwyer. This is my husband, Aaron Dwyer. We are a mega icon team based out of Georgia. We cover Georgia, South Carolina, and Tennessee. He's our Nashville. He's our luxury piece of it. We are.
That's a long way, y'all. That's a long way.
Anybody travel further than we did? Oh, I was gonna say, did your butt get like asleep on the plane? Because mine did. It was, and what's so bad is the worst part was the flight from Honolulu to here. The part from Atlanta to Honolulu wasn't really that bad, but this was, that last leg was wretched for me. Anyways, so we, just a little bit about us, just to kind of expand on what Jill said. When we found EXP, we weren't looking for EXP, and she made it sound so nice, because actually what I asked her was, how the hell did you end up at EXP? Because you don't seem at all like the kind of person that I've ever dealt with that was with EXP, because they always kind of seem to be like the wild, wild west of real estate in our area where we're from. And she was so put together, and everything was, and we were just in a room, and one of the phrases that kept being repeated time and time again in that event was proximity's power, right? Proximity is a cheat code. And so for every single person that's sitting in this room, hats off to you for being in this room. Hats off to you for still being in this room, because there's a lot of empty seats in here right now that people, for whatever reason, had to leave or whatever, but you guys have stuck it out, and this, your growth that you're gonna come away from today and tomorrow with, you don't even realize today, but a week, 2 weeks, 3 months, 6 months down the road, there's going to be an opportunity that you're going to have put something in your mind that you're going to bring back from this, and it's going to apply to your life at that moment.
So when we do sales meetings, we typically have a sign that says I interrupt, because that's the only time the other person gets to talk, right? So she actually has a shirt that says I interrupt. So here's what I want to do today, because I want to kind of set the stage for this as we get into this. If I don't cut her off, we're not ever going to get started. We do have slides, but the chances of us staying on the slides are like slim and none. So here's what I'm going to do first, okay? We're going to speak to every person sitting in this room, but not the people that you see at the table. We're going to speak to what's inside that person sitting at this table, okay? Because who you are right now, who I see right now, is who you have created yourself to be. Because all of us as humans have this frailty that we're going to create something where we have to be accepted by other people. So I dress this way. My hair's cut this way. I grow a beard because my daughter made fun of me. I look a certain way. She did call me a fetus. I look a certain way because I want to be accepted by you. And we all have this problem. But that's not who we're going to talk to today. We're going to talk to that thing inside who you actually are. So my hat's off to every one of you. Thanks to all of you who stood on stage earlier. It's super courageous for all of you to stand on this stage. It's super courageous.
Is Ric Flair about to come out? Ashton
the
Kutcher,
Zamboni, they're going to be, this is a hockey, that's a Zamboni. They're going to cut the ice.
The Zamboni's about to roll out here.
They don't know anything about a Zamboni. They're like,
sorry, y'all are in Hawaii, my bad.
That's a hockey reference, sorry. So here's what I want to do first. I want to say thank you to everybody sitting on the stage. I want to say thank you to Dylan. Thank you to Jill, Eric. But I also want to say thank you to each one of you, because guess what? You're all batting 1,000. All the bull stuff you've been through in your life, you are 100% successful in getting through every one of those challenges. And every one of those things. And y'all, I'm a softie. I'm going to cry. I promise you. I'll cry before this thing gets done. But hats off to you. Give yourself a pat on the back, because no matter what, you're still right here. And you're in this room, and you're learning, and you're getting better, and you're meeting people, and you're expanding who you are as a person. You're expanding who that thing is on the inside. So I want you to just really try to dive in. Try to get past your ego. Try to get past that thing that you've made yourself be, okay? And let us speak to something on the inside.
And I'm going to add one thing just to touch on the YouTube stuff was phenomenal, but those ladies that were sitting up here a while ago, I hope I don't trip over one of these chairs. If I do, it's fine. But when he and I met, in 2018. So we met in 2018, and we kind of came together. He had exit offices, I had exit offices. We kind of had this like hybrid blend of what we did, and then fast forward, here we are now later. We don't have any of those, and we're EXP now. But I had 3 coaches and a therapist when he met me. So anybody who...
Thank God.
So if you don't have at least one coach, you need at least one, okay?
Or a therapist.
3 coaches and a therapist. And 3
and the drinking habits.
We won't mention them. Sorry. All right, so I'm gonna start moving the slides. Let's do this. And I'm not talking about this. Is not the kind of AI that Eric stood up here a while ago and talked about. First of all, when I learned about Chat GPT, did I say that right? Chat GPT, Chat GPT.
That's why she has the clicker.
2 months ago, 3 months ago maybe, learned how to do my first prompt, thought it was super cool, realized that you could take whatever you wrote and make it sound like a redneck, and that's even better. So the hours of entertainment I've gotten just from reading the different versions of a Chat GPT thing is phenomenal. So if you guys don't really want to do anything with it, but you just want to entertain yourself, that's what you do. Write something and then say, make it sound like a redneck.
Make it sound like a redneck. It's hilarious.
It's hilarious. So anyway, so what is AI? I knew I was going to mess that up. You started it already? And what does AI mean? What does embracing AI mean for your business? And that's kind of a piece of what we're going to talk about a little bit today is your business. But the bigger piece, and I think a lot of it's been said here, is what does it mean for your life? Like that's the important piece to me, is what does embracing this AI we're going to talk about mean for your life? Because if you'll embrace it and let it do what it needs to do in your life, your business will automatically benefit.
Because here's the thing, y'all. How many of your lives are separate from your business? Raise your hand if your kids wait for you to get home. Raise your hand if you've had to blow off a listing appointment because you've got the sick kid at home. Our lives and our businesses, they always intersect. But we're under this impression that we have to balance those things. And I'm just here to tell you, you can't balance it. There's no balancing. We don't use the word balance. We use the word harmony. Because if you truly want to build something spectacular, your wife's going to be at home without you sometimes. If she wants to build something fantastic, she's going to be out there building something fantastic, and I'm going to be home with the kids. So it's not about balance, it's about harmony. So we always talk about harmony. I love this island so much and what y'all do, because it's all, watching the dancers earlier, I got tears in my eyes. It's harmony. This thing is harmony, because I promise you, how many of your businesses have been affected by something in your life? All of us. Y'all, I've been in real estate since 06.
Y'all are all liars on this side of the room.
She's been in real estate since 06.
You're either liars,
you're all liars
or you're asleep.
And I promise you, every one of you in this business, okay, either has a drinking problem, you've been divorced once or twice, you wish you were divorced, there's something going on in your life, okay? This business,
and 3 divorce attorneys.
I promise you, when I got in this business, I had a head full of hair. Look, I like this guy. I had a head full of hair, flowing locks, and look at me now. So these things are harmonious. You've got your business and your life has to be harmonious.
So I have a question for you guys. Who here knows what is the highest vibrational frequency that is emitted from the human body?
That's what everybody thinks. How many of you believe that everything in life is energy? That everything in this universe is energy and vibration? Do you believe that? You know, they've done studies. They show how water, if somebody's depressed, water will vibrate differently. If it's in the presence of somebody who's depressed, somebody who's a low vibration. You ever walked up to somebody and just went, ooh, my God.
Or any vibration in your body. If you feel any feeling inside your body, like when something happens, it's because the water molecules in your body, there's like entire studies about this. Those water molecules in your body are changing. And that's what that feeling is inside of you. You're close in love.
It was close. I was closer.
Authenticity. These guys back here said it. Be yourselves, but it's better if you're skilled, right? So you can be, you're 98% of the way there if you're just being yourself. That extra 2% that if you actually know what you're doing, it makes all the difference in the world. It's kind of icing on the cake, okay? So, but authenticity is literally the highest vibrational frequency emitted from the human body, and they've got a lot of studies on this. It is 4 times stronger than the vibration of love. So, and probably the love frequency is that love like when you first meet your love, right? Like that feeling
That's
of
lust.
just
lust. That's lust.
Oh, is that
Different
higher,
word.
lower,
That's
different session,
That's a
different
thing.
talk?
Different.
Okay, different talk. Sorry. So, anyways,
so let's stay right here a second. Guess what? Guess who can be you? You. Guess who can't be you? Anybody else. So why in the crap are you trying to be somebody else? You know, Emerson said the greatest accomplishment in this world is you being you when the entire world's trying to change you. You've all been conditioned to be somebody different. Your mom and dad had their own conditioning. Their parents had their own conditioning. You've been conditioned your entire life to be something different than you actually are. And Emerson, that's such a fantastic quote, and it's such a great challenge. We have people on YouTube that are saying, you just gotta be you. It sounds really easy, doesn't it? It sounds super easy. But how many of you have got to go through a rash of crap to find that person? We all do, by the way. Every one of us do. How many of you like a story and you like a movie where the main character, the hero, is born into a fantastic family? They always drive nice cars. They make the best grades in school. It's always wonderful. They have no hardships. Nobody watches movies like that. They're stupid and they're not true. Everybody loves the movie where the guy has to fight through the challenges. The girl has to fight through all the challenges and they come out on the other side a winner. Guess what? That's the way it works. And so many of us quit before we start peeling off layers of the onion. So many of us quit when it gets hard or when it gets uncomfortable. When we're getting to the point where we're trying to finally figure out who the hell we are. We quit because it doesn't feel good. Because it doesn't feel right. Because it's not supposed to be this hard.
I'm going to jump in here for a minute. I don't know what the next slide is, so I'm going to do that. And then, oh yeah, go back here. So I just sneak peek.
Told you.
So leading up to this, so when Jill called us and asked us about coming here and speaking, I was like, yes. I don't know when, I don't know where. She said Hawaii. I said yes. It was like an automatic
check.
instinct, like no hesitation. I don't know. I said, I don't care what we have on the calendar. It's getting changed because we're going to Hawaii to speak. So, but since getting ready to come here and do this, something just kept talking to me and saying, talk about the storms. Talk about the storms. And Jill said, you know, Dylan's really wanting this to be like motivational and uplifting and everybody. But, you know, the storms are what builds the uplift. You can't have a comeback without a setback. Right? You can't have, nobody signs up for the storms. Who here has been through a storm this year? Anybody in this room that hasn't been through a storm? Okay? I'm going to tell you, we've all been through the storms. And I'm telling you, not one of us would have signed up for the storm. Not one of us. But I'm going to tell you that you're not who you are today if not for that storm. If you didn't have the storm, you get the growth and the grit and the pain and the scars. Chicks dig scars, right? Isn't that a song from the country from the country part of the world?
That trucks,
scars, something like that. But scars too, right? We grow from the scars. So I was listening to a podcast one day, and I think it wasn't Ed Milet, it was the guy that did 75 Hard, Frizella, Andy Frizella. Has anybody listened to him? You need to be listening to him if you don't, because he drops F-bombs like they are jelly beans.
They're golden.
So, but he talks about that you can't buy the kind of training and the kind of development and growth that you get from a storm. So those opportunities, you have to say thank you. Even though you are not, it hurts. And there's days, y'all, I can't tell you how many times I've been curled up in the fetal position just this year. And we're sitting here and we're looking at each other yesterday morning at breakfast, and this morning I'm standing out there on the lava rocks where it says do not walk on the rocks, and I'm doing it anyways because the videos are fantastic. I got to figure out how to incorporate that into YouTube. And I'm thinking to myself, November 30th, this was yesterday we were talking about this, November 30th of 2022, I would have never dreamed that I'd be sitting in Hawaii. And I know you guys are like, oh, this is just Hawaii. No, this is not just Hawaii. For those of us that are not here every day, like your level of gratitude should be on 158 plus every morning to get to wake up to be in this place, okay? So, but nobody could have ever told me Yeah, give yourselves a hand because I'm trying to figure out how we're going to get here. I looked at
She
him
already
and said,
we're
"Can we
selling
sell the
and
house and
moving
move
to
to Hawaii?" But I would have never thought last year we'd be sitting in Hawaii 1 year later. And I'm going to tell you, our entire situation looks completely different than it looked on November 30th of 2022. Completely different. In a way that I could have never dreamed of. And the tears and the setbacks and the financial devastation and all the things that have come with that change has put us exactly where we're supposed to be.
So I'm gonna hold up my sign. All right. So go ahead. Get the next one. Here we go. Here's the thing. Well, I'm gonna say that till later. If it weren't for that, we would not have the blessing and the pleasure of standing right here. Because it's not really just about us being in Hawaii. It's about us getting to share our hearts with you. Because there's something that I know that our impact and what we're all designed to do, it's not for us. You weren't created, you weren't born. I don't, if you believe you came from monkeys, God, flamingos, storks, dinosaurs, I really don't care. But I know this, you were created for a specific purpose. That's why being authentic is so important, because I can't reach the same people you can reach. I can't reach the same people Dylan can reach. We all have our own little worlds, our own little circles, we call them spheres of influence in the real estate business. But we all have these little circles that we get to influence and talk to, and we get to impact. If we can stop being so self-absorbed, if we can stop being so selfish, if we can stop being in our ego and truly be who we are, we can impact those worlds around us. And guys, Christy says this all the time. Real estate, y'all, is a mission field. Y'all are doing big stuff here. I almost said a bad word. Y'all are doing big stuff here, okay? And providing things to people that they would never have the opportunity to have. So you should take your hats off to yourself. Take your hat off and salute yourself.
So the AI we're talking about is authentic impact. Okay, and we've kind of talked about authenticity a little bit, and we've talked about impact. But each person, so one of the girls up here a while ago, and I can't remember who it was, but she was talking about Section 8, okay? And so that was you talking about the Section 8. So I have a story, my very, very, very favorite, real estate. I know I don't have long, but I'm going to say it real quick, 45 seconds. I used to manage a mobile home park in Northeast Georgia, and if nobody's ever been through Northeast Georgia, it's
watch swamp people.
Yeah,
it's just Hydra. You have to have captions
to understand what they say.
It's like a mix between
swamp people and Ozark.
I'm happy that you guys can understand what we say. I hope the video has like captions later.
I get my 48 seconds restarts now.
Okay, sorry.
And I manage this mobile home park, and there's this girl, and she's a single mom, and she works at there's like 3 different fast food restaurants in town.
The only 3.
No, there's a lot of them, but she worked at 3, and it's like you pull up to a drive and you're like, well, what are you doing here? Like, I thought I just saw you at Arby's, but she would come in every single month, and she would pay her rent exactly on time. And then we had 2 different days that people would come in and pay, the rent day and the water bill day. So then she would come in and she'd pay her water bill, and she'd pull her money out of her bra, and she'd count the money, and if she thought her bill was $12.18 and it was really $17, she would make me show her what it was. And I looked at her one day and I said, you know what, we're going to get you out of there one day. We're going to get you out of that mobile home park. And she says, really? And so about a year later, I'd stopped managing the mobile home park because the owner wouldn't take care of the houses like they needed to, and I just wasn't going to have any part of it. So she comes in, she's ready to buy a house. So we get her in this house, and she's like, this is the first time anybody in my family, like for generations, has ever owned a home. And it was like a $78,000 purchase. And you know, when we sell waterfront homes, I sell poultry farms, and they're, you know, up in the millions of dollars of properties. And this one was the most meaningful for me. And then about 3 or 4 years later, she calls me because she wants to sell that home, okay? And the market has ticked up. And so she came away with a check for about $40,000 profit on that home. And she's like, I've never had this much money in my bank account. So those impacts that we're making on the lives of people, those are the really cool ones. And we get to sell big houses and big commission checks, but the people that are out here focusing on getting people to even understand home ownership, that's the impact we have. We have the ability to do that in people's lives and change the generational trajectory of what we're doing.
Yeah, that's super cool.
So this is my very favorite quote ever, okay? And it's the 2 most important days of your life. The day you're born and the day you find out why. Okay, when Aaron and I came together, we both had already just started finding our why. And this is where we talk about attraction, and we talk about authenticity. And when you talk about being able to truly get to who you really are, you find that other piece of who you are. Like we literally found one another after we found ourselves. And we wouldn't have found each other had we not found ourselves. Okay?
Because here's the deal. Authenticity is attractive. Authenticity is attractive. Guess what? You're not supposed to work with everybody. You're not supposed to be married to everybody, right? Your authenticity is attractive to the people who are supposed to be in your circle. Your authenticity is attractive to the people who are supposed to work with you. And so many times in this business, we get so frustrated because we're chasing people who we don't have any business working with.
Right.
And we chase and chase and chase and chase, and we get tired, and you get exhausted, and you beat your head against the wall, and those aren't your clients anyway.
Yep.
You need to be doing things like they're doing, where you're putting yourself in positions to attract business, to bring business to you. And it's possible if you'll just be you.
Yep. So there was a Tom Ferry study that Tom Ferry quoted a study a few years back.
Tom Ferry's not that smart.
Yeah, but he quoted the study, so at least he properly sourced it. So the happiest people on earth, and it was a study about the happiest people, and the two things they had in common. Does anybody have any guesses of what those two things are?
Happiest people on earth. What are the two things they have in common?
Because the thing says 11 minutes, I'm gonna start flipping through these slides. Okay, nope. They're always learning. Okay, right
that was
here,
a good guess.
Right here. There's one thing that's missing out of this list, and I'll say that in a minute. So that they're always learning. No. And they help and serve others. Yeah. Always learning, being in the rooms, improving yourselves, expanding your knowledge, and helping others. There are so many days that you come home and you could have not made a dime and had things fall through and then run into somebody that you were able to help or serve, and it completely shifts your entire attitude. Am I right? Is anybody feeling this? I know y'all are tired. I know it's late in the afternoon.
Listen. Have you ever tried to be grumpy or pissed off and thankful at the same time?
It's not possible.
You can't do it.
You can't do it.
They can't. Just like light and darkness can't exist in the same space.
Yep.
Gratitude and anger can't exist in the same space. So if you have a crappy day, and we're going to talk about, hopefully we'll talk about this in a second. You always have to orient yourself toward gratitude. Because there's always something to be. Hell, you live in paradise, for gosh sakes.
Yes, you do.
Walk outside and look and think, whoo, this is pretty awesome.
Yeah. So again, Albert Einstein, strive not to be of success, but rather to be of value. So every day when you get up, if you don't have somebody to call, if you're not prospecting, people talked about time blocking today. They talked about different things. This is what I tell my agents that are in a slump. Get up, go to the grocery store, and find somebody who's looking for something in the store. That's all you gotta do. Get up, go to the grocery store. You're going to find somebody wandering around looking for maraschino cherries. You're going to find somebody walking around looking for, where's this in the aisle, right? Act like you work there, okay? Find somebody to help. And then while you're helping them find the flower.
Y'all are laughing, but this is a fantastic way to get business.
I'm telling you, man. We've had agents sell $800,000 lake houses because they helped someone find diapers in the grocery store, okay? Get out and find someone to help. They're everywhere. That used to be my prayer every morning before I would get up and put my feet on the ground. Lord, put the people in my path today that I'm supposed to cross paths with, and make me not be too dumb to recognize it. Help open my eyes to recognize it. Yep. So, and somebody put this up here earlier. You can have everything you want in life if you'll just help enough people get what they want.
So guess why we don't do that? Guess why we don't go into the store and help people? Guess why we don't help other people find and be better for themselves? Guess why we don't? Because intrinsically built into us is this selfish fight or flight mode.
Yep.
We haven't evolved past gorillas. We haven't evolved past cavemen. You still get scared at the smallest thing. You get selfish. You get into survival mode. And all you can think about yourself, all you can think about is, oh, I'm having a bad day. Oh, my kids suck. Oh, my husband sucks. My wife's terrible. That's all you think about. You walk through all day long and you miss these opportunities that are right in front of you every single day. And then Dylan has a conversation with you and says, how many leads did you generate this week? You're like, one. Right? And it's 7 days worth of leads. Do you know if you talk to 5 people a day, 5 days a week for 10 months of the year, you'd make over $300,000 a year just like that? If you just had 5 conversations a day, 10 months out of the year, 5 days a week, 10 months of the year, you make over $300,000 a year. Go to the grocery store.
Heck, go to the grocery store and you look like you're trying to find something. Somebody's going to help you.
Hell, sit in the corner and like drool or something.
Somebody will find you. So now we want to talk about the AI that we really want you to truly embrace today. So this is, I think we're probably on slide 6. So aligned intentions. All right, I'm just going to start going through this. The definition of alignment. So the noun alignment refers to the proper positioning of something. Okay, so like how many of you guys take and get your cars aligned? Here, y'all better be doing it a lot because there's a lot of bumpy roads here that I've seen. Okay, so when you take your car and you get your front end aligned, it's to make sure that your tires are going the right direction, that you're not giving them uneven wear and all that good kind of stuff. So alignment is necessary to ensure the proper positioning or direction of something, right? Y'all with me? Everybody in here would know what? Does anybody get their car aligned?
So here's the deal. To understand what your authentic intention is, or your aligned intentions are, to understand this part of the AI, you got to understand you, because you got to be clear on what your intentions are, right? You got to be clear on the destination where you're going, right? It's hard to start a trip if you don't know where you're going. There's not much motivation if you really don't know what the end is. Right?
Unless you're my husband, he just starts driving. I'm like, where are you going? He's like, I don't know. I figured if I start driving, you'll tell me where we're going. So, definition of intention. The noun intention refers to a thing intended, an aim, or a plan. She was full of good intentions. Y'all know how the other half of that sentence goes, right? Or the road to hell is paved, the first half of the sentence, with good intentions. But then there's another definition that I really think is super interesting that I found. Intention is also, from a medical standpoint, the healing process of a wound. It's what your body does. If you have a wound, your body, that term intention means that it starts putting everything towards that one thing that needs to be healed, right? So when you think about that, that is amazing that the human body understands intention before we can mentally understand. And our bodies already understand that process.
And to go back to what we said earlier, it's amazing how action helps, it's kind of salves those wounds. How action helps overcome some of those hurts. When you're sitting back and you're acting like, oh my God, this is awful, I should quit, this is a terrible business. It's amazing when you take a little bit of action, when you go talk to somebody at the grocery store, when you go get a lead, then you think you're on top of the world, right? You can go from this to this by one person saying, sure, I'm interested in buying a house.
Right.
Really? There's a chance. So you got to have those intentions. You have to be clear on those intentions, and your intentions have to be based in action.
So once we're aligned in our intentions, then we get to experience that life-changing power of our own AI. We all have it. We all have that authentic piece, that authentic purpose that's inside of us, right? We just have to align with it, and then we have to go forward towards it, okay? And so many times people, and Aaron talked about this when we first got up here, he uses this analogy like your little screens and how we've been raised. And if you've been raised to not like marinara sauce on your spaghetti, you want meat sauce on your spaghetti, like different things that just come as a result of it's the way we were raised, okay? And you can take that example and change anything. And people are like, well, why is it that she likes something one way and he likes something a different way? It's because of the way we were raised. It's because of those belief systems that were put onto us before we ever had the understanding or ability to establish our own belief systems, right? So I want to talk about this because somebody talked about this earlier. Eat the Frog First. Has anybody ever read this book? Okay. So does anybody understand what we talk about right here when we're talking about the frog? Okay. What's your frog? Does anybody here have a frog? Do you know what we're talking about with the frog? No. Okay. So the frog is any distraction or perceived fear that's keeping you from achieving your goals or your desired outcomes. How many of you in here have a frog? Y'all are a bunch of liars.
Listen, and I'm gonna say, guess what? Guess what? Your ego, your fear protects your ego. Fear protects your ego because your ego is always going to fight against who you are inside. Your ego is always going to fight against your subconscious, against that thing inside that's always connected to truth. It's always going to talk you. If you did it right, it's going to tell you did it wrong. If you did it wrong, it's going to say you should have done it another way. It's going to tell you that you're too bald, you're too short, you're too fat, you're too old, you're too young. You can't help that. Your frog is your ego, and your ego builds fear, blame, guilt, all those things you've been given, all those things that have happened to you over the years. That's what you've conditioned yourself to be, but it's not who you are.
And your frog's a choice. You choose not to face those fears. I have a little thing that I talk about and I talked to, I think, Eric about it earlier. I have an 80-15-5 rule. 80-15-5. Does anybody know what that is? I learned this whenever I was Tom Ferry. Tom Ferry was one of my coaches when I had the 3 coaches and the therapist. And we talked about the 80-15-5. 80% of your time you spend in your strengths, the things that you know you're good at, the things that you can do without even thinking about it, right? The things that you know you're pretty successful at, okay? 15% of your time you need to spend working on things that you're improving on. You're not great at it, but you're not horrible at it. It doesn't make you want to vomit at the thought of doing it, right? You've gotten past that point. 5% of your time is the stuff that you literally would rather stick lava rocks in your eyes.
Those are the things that make you want to vomit.
Okay? That was my Hawaiian reference. Y'all get that? Y'all see what I did there? I'm learning. I know. I already told Dylan we're going to run over. So don't hear that. And then eventually that 15% bucket starts to overflow into the 80%. So the things that were in the 15% bucket now are in the 80% bucket because you really were putting effort into working on them. And things that were in the 5% bucket are now in the 15% bucket. Because you're not horrible at it anymore. It doesn't make you want to throw up anymore if you're going to do it. So focus on those things. Those are your frogs. Your frogs are sitting in the 5 and 15% bucket. Your frogs are only 20%, and that 20% is literally what's holding you back from achieving exactly what you're supposed to be achieving. Those goals that you're setting for yourself, throw them out the window if you're not willing to eat the frog. And the distractions, Dylan, the girlfriend's not a distraction, by the way. She's not a frog. I already said that. Never mind. That was last night's conversation. So I want you to talk on this quote. No?
The magic.
Go back.
Go. The magic you're seeking is in the things you're avoiding. The magic that you're seeking are in the things that you're avoiding. They're in those frogs. They're in those things that you just don't feel like doing. They're in those things that you're scared of doing. They're in those things that if you put yourself out there, if you build a YouTube channel, somebody's gonna make fun of you. Guess what? Haters are gonna what? Hate. Who cares?
I'm going to tell you this. I say solar power. Use them like solar power. Let those haters build that light. Let them build that fire inside of you. Because if you're doing shit big, you're going to have haters.
Guess
what?
And
if you don't have haters, you aren't doing shit big enough. I'm going to tell you that right now.
So when I heard that earlier, I was gonna quote my favorite philosopher. My favorite philosopher is Cat Williams. If you've not heard Cat Williams, he talks about this. And I'm not going to say it like Cat Williams would say it. But I'll tell you this, what Cat Williams says, if you have 30 haters when you wake up, you need to go to bed with 60. Okay? And if you're not getting haters every single day, you're not doing it right.
That's right.
You're not doing enough. Okay?
That's right.
So listen, y'all, strength is not in easy. Strength is not in the easy. It's in the resilience. It's in the resilience. It's seeing your way through the hard crap. Nobody gives a crap about Star Wars if Luke Skywalker's born with a silver spoon in his mouth. Nobody cares. Nobody cares about that story. Your story, you're the hero of your own story. You're the authentic hero of your story. You just got to stop being almost another bad word. You just got to stop being scared.
Well, Brent Gove told us
it's a personal challenge.
On stage.
It's a personal challenge. It is. You got to stop being scared of what other people say. Just go be you and let the world be what it's going to be.
That's
you
right.
can't control that anyway.
I'm doing good. There you
go. Here we go. So we're going to leave you with something. We're going to leave you a little something to go home with. Okay? It's 5 steps to achieving AI.
Y'all write this down because I haven't seen anybody writing anything down today. Y'all get some pens and write stuff down.
What?
No, it wasn't for you.
Oh. Number 1, lean into what feeds your highest self. Lean into that authentic you. These are the things that are going to feel happy. They're going to bring you passion. You're going to be enthusiastic about these things. Those emotional cues are your little guide, your little compass that you're on the right path. If it feels shitty, there you go. How about that? If it feels shitty, stop doing it. Stop doing it. Okay? If it feels good, lean into it. He said it earlier. Y'all, so many of you find something that works once and quit. You're like, oh my God, it worked once. It's never going to work again. Or, oh my God, it worked once. I'm going to sit back here and do nothing now. Keep doing it. Lean into those things that bring you enthusiasm, that bring you joy, that bring you happiness. Those things are guiding you towards your purpose, guiding you to the authentic version of you. Number 2, be committed to disciplined, tangible action. You got to get up and do it.
Even if it's something little. It doesn't have to be massive. Just something little.
Listen, on my kid's bathroom, I wrote in dry erase marker on his mirror, be 1% better today. It doesn't, guys, we all want that big, who said earlier, we all want the lottery check. All of us do. But that ain't the way this works. This island wasn't built, it was built with an explosion, but it was a little bit, and a little bit, and a little bit, and a little bit, and a little bit. 1% difference every single day. That's 365 degrees difference in 12 months. Our life is completely different now than it was 12 months ago. 1% better every single day. No matter how insignificant it feels, how seemingly irrelevant it feels, do it anyway. You're gonna gain strength from the reps. Number 3, commit to the process, not the result. Commit to the process. Let the results be what the results are gonna be. Trust the process, y'all.
They said about there earlier, the
golf
last
reference. Here's my golf reference.
They said 6 months after they've been doing YouTube videos. 6 months. They got their first phone call. 6 months. What would have happened if they had done a couple of videos and said, you know what, this crap don't work. We're not doing this.
It wouldn't work. They never get that phone call where they high five each other and go, let's do this shit now. Let's go.
Yep.
Right? They don't have that moment. Trust the process, not the results. Let go of the outcome. Let the outcome be what it's going to be. Number 4, stay oriented toward a positive state. Dylan talked about this earlier. Y'all, again, another reason I love this island. It's hard to be mad on this island. It should be. I'm telling you, it's hard to be mad out there. When you walk outside and see how pretty it is, it's really hard. When you smell chicken houses, now you can be mad about smelling chicken houses. When you walk out there,
when you get that paycheck,
woo,
you don't mind.
Keep moving in the direction of your intention. Keep going no matter what. No matter what, especially when it's hard, especially when there's a storm, especially when you don't effing feel like doing it.
Yep.
That's when you got to do it. That's when you go be 1% better. Number 5.
I'm going to stay on this for a second. That's when you go find somebody to help. Because I promise you, you don't have to look very far to find someone who's in a worse position than you're in, who's got it a little bit tougher than you do. So those days when you just feel like crap and they always say, I've heard this quote there's no problem in real estate that prospecting can't fix. All prospecting is you're out there finding somebody you can help. That's all you're doing. Go to the grocery store, go to the gas station. There's going to be somebody standing on the corner holding a sign.
And here's a little nugget. I heard somebody talk about their morning routine earlier. That morning routine, that's y'all's deal, not mine. I will tell you, you got to find a spot to pull back because it's loud. It's noisy out there. There are a lot of things that are pulling at you. There are a lot of things that are trying to get your attention. And you can spin too many plates and all the plates start to fall. At some point, you need to stop, sit down, close your eyes, and just breathe. Just be present in that moment. And it's amazing the insight you'll get when you just shut your mouth. It's amazing. All right, number 5. Let go of all limiting beliefs. It sounds so easy, but it's so hard. It sounds so easy, but it is so hard. Because y'all, I am 51 years old, and I've done a lot of stuff in my life. I've lived through a lot of things I probably shouldn't have lived through. And I'm standing here today as a miracle of those things not happening, right? But I promise you, I still get scared. I still get nervous about picking up the phone and calling somebody. I still don't want to have those conversations because what if they say no?
Sometimes he gets scared to call me.
Sometimes I get scared to call her. What if they don't like me, right? Oh my God, that's our worst fear. They're not going to like me, okay? As soon as we truly let go of our self-imposed limitations, our authentic self is free to work as efficiently and as effectively and as powerfully as possible.
So I want to stop here for just a second. And are we okay on time? We're good? Okay. So I want everybody to close your eyes for a second. I'm going to do a little exercise with y'all. I want everybody to just sit there and kind of put your feet on the ground or whatever you're going to do and close your eyes. If your feet are on the top of the table, just put them on the ground. I didn't get that. So I want you to close your eyes. And I want you to hold out your right hand, left hand, whichever one you want to do. And I want you to take your thumb and I want you to touch it to your pinky finger. And then I want you to touch it to your index finger. And then I want to touch it to your ring finger and your middle finger. Thumb to pinky, thumb to index, thumb to ring, thumb to middle. Now I want you to repeat that pattern. Thumb to pinky, thumb to index, thumb to ring, thumb to middle. And we just keep doing it over and over. And then I want you to stop and I want you to open your hand back up. Keep your eyes closed. And I want you to, in your mind, repeat that pattern. Repeat that same pattern. Thumb to pinky, thumb to index finger, thumb to your ring finger, thumb to your middle finger. But don't actually do the action. Just do it in your mind. Play it over and over again. Thumb to pinky, thumb to your index, thumb to ring, thumb to your middle finger. Now, in your mind, were you able to accomplish that same pattern without actually doing the action? Because you set your intentions on doing it. Now I want you to do the action again with your hand. Thumb to pinky, thumb to index, thumb to ring, thumb to middle. Just over and over again. Keep doing it. How much easier was it to do it the second time? After you sat there and you mentally worked through that with intention without ever having to do the action. That's what you've got to do every morning. In that morning routine, whether your morning routine is getting up and running, doing meditation, doing quiet time, sleeping in, I wouldn't recommend that be part of it. But this guy right here gets up at 4:30 every single morning to be able to go and do his quiet before anything else starts. I throw him off so much when I wake up. If he walks back upstairs at 5 a.m. and I'm standing there, he's like, oh God. Because I have just thrown off his entire morning routine. Okay? That intention, though, that you put into whatever it is that you're doing, just that little exercise, okay? You were able to do it without even thinking about it the second time because of the intention you put behind it, because of that mental focus and intention.
She threw that one in there on me. I didn't know that was coming. All right. Y'all, listen to this quote. It seems that every life form on this planet strives toward its maximum potential, except human beings. A tree does not grow to half its potential size and then say, I guess that'll do. A tree will drive its roots as deep as possible. It will soak up as much nourishment as it can, stretch as high and as wide as nature will allow, and then look down as if to remind us of how much each of us could become if only we would do all that we can. Human beings are the only species created that will not operate at its full potential because we've all been given the dignity of choice. We've all been given the dignity of choice. All I'm asking is be who God created you to be. All I'm asking is for you to be your authentic you. All I'm asking is for you to go out into the world and blaze a trail and set a fire on the people that are around you. Do as much as you can. Be as big as you can get. Do everything that you can do. Make a choice to be great.
Thank y'all.
Aaron and Christy Dwyer, thank y'all. Appreciate it. Hey, I will say this. If you'll scan that QR code, if you wanted to talk some other time and us kind of ramble on another 3 hours of your life, we're happy to do that. But you can click that QR code. That'll get on the Calendly link for us, and we'd be happy to talk to you at some time. All right? Thank y'all. Appreciate y'all letting us be here. Thanks a lot.